What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Exos Heroes video. And welcome to my very first proper review of a character in Exos Heroes. Now, you guys might have seen a lot of my first impression videos, and I don't normally do any reviews for characters. The reason being, I felt a little bit weary regarding reviewing characters, because there's a chance that, you know, the new characters, I won't be able to get them, or I tried my best to get them and still couldn't get them, and I felt like it would be incomplete if I don't have those characters. But seeing other people actually doing their videos, doing full reviews, even though sometimes they don't actually have those characters, gave me a little bit more confidence in actually doing one. So for me personally, I will want to have that character before I actually do a full review on a character. So there will be times that I won't be doing a full review. If I do miss out on a character, unfortunately, I don't really plan to. I still will do a first impressions on those characters as fast as I can, and still do some comparisons here and there. And that's how the structure of my character reviews are going to be for Exos Heroes. So I hope you guys do understand where I'm coming from. I do want to personally experience that character in PvE and in PvP before I make my own judgment regarding that character, and not just go off by whatever abilities that they have. So with that in mind, like and subscribe first before we start this video. It does really help out the channel, guys, and I really do appreciate it. And I apologize for the long intro. So without further ado, let's start this video. Alright guys, so we'll start this video off in comparing the normal Iris compared to the Summer Festa version FC Iris. Now the clear difference here is going to be all the other extra passives that you're going to be getting with FC Iris. The flop, sorry, the Summer's Blessing, the Wet Fog, and basically the Mark as well. So yeah, that would be the biggest difference, and the normal Iris will have access to Cleanse 3 if you fully decked her out, and this is what you guys are seeing on the left side. Basically with rarity heroes, basically you have the chance to unlock their potential, and basically you can unlock stronger versions of their abilities. So with the normal Iris, you have access to getting Cleanse 3, Origin of Protection, all the way to the 17% tier of her max granting barrier, maximum of her health, basically, and actually getting to the point where you can actually go toe to toe with the FC Iris in terms of ability 2. Now, one quick thing is, you guys might get confused. I actually call ability 1 the first active ability, and ability 2, which is the second active ability. I don't count the basic attack as ability 1, and I don't count the passive as ability 1 as well. So some of you guys might be wondering why I'm calling it ability 1, ability 2. I guess to me it has to be an active ability before it's an actual ability. And I call the passive as the passive. So just something to clarify if you are watching other YouTubers where they, you know, call my ability 1 ability 2 instead. So again, one of the biggest other changes with the regular Iris versus the FC Iris is their ability 1. So with the normal Iris, it's just a barrier, whereas the FC version removes all the status effects of all the allies, as well as giving everyone actually 2 mana. So this is a really great mana generating character. Alright guys, now let's go through the pros of actually getting FC Iris, or using FC Iris if you do already have her. The first one is definitely a dragon blood killer. So as you guys may or may not know, The meta really was defined the first season, I guess, the first turnaround of Exos Heroes by Dragon Blood. The first Guardians were really hard to deal with because they can stack their defense and they will have a barrier up. With FC Iris, she basically will remove those barriers, at least one per turn. So there's still a chance if there are multiple Dragon Bloods in your opponent's team that they will still get the barrier up. However, at least you can remove one of them straight away and then kill off that Dragon Blood, and during the next turn you can, if you triggered that Dragon Blood again, you can get rid of that barrier. So that's the main thing for FC Iris. The second thing being, she's a great mana generator character. So in order to use your abilities, you do need mana. So if Iris can give you 2 mana every turn, that is insane, and that's for everyone in the party as well. So again, in the end, it will give you more damage potential, making it easier for you to get access to your ability 1 and ability 2. And if you have a burst ability 2, well, you're gonna get there a lot faster. Number 3 for FC Iris is you do have the bigger damage initially. You don't have to unlock her potential in order to get to that 525% damage that she does. So if you are just using a normal Iris, you have to waste a lot of your resources to actually get there. So if you have FC Iris, you get there immediately. And number 4, it's the destroyer of barriers. So like I said with Dragon Blood Killer, basically she not only destroys those barriers, she destroys every barrier. So it's still hard to say which one is an actual barrier sometimes with this game, because it can get a little bit confusing, but Dragon Blood shields are one of them, and the gold I suppose armor cores, it grants a barrier as well. So Barrier of Will is another one. So there's quite a few barriers that she will actually remove. Unfortunately, she actually doesn't remove FC Annie's barrier. So for some reason, even though it looks like a barrier, it actually doesn't count as one. So unfortunately, there's no way for you to take off that and kill off whoever that is straight away. But there are a lot of pros in actually using FC Iris. Now let's talk about the cons of FC Iris. Even if there is one, I guess it is going to be you lose the better cleanse version. It's totally not a big deal since she is generating the mana anyway, but obviously if she had access to the better version of cleanse, then she would generate more mana for herself, so therefore making you have access to her ability 2 straight away and doing massive damage. The second one is, well, you won't have any barrier, but I don't think you will need it, since for the most part you are going to be expecting your opponents to actually have FC Iris as well, because this is the biggest counter to the first Guardian meta. So I guess it's not a big deal not having that barrier, but there are certainly some in certain situations where you would prefer to have that barrier instead. Probably in the PvE version of the, in PvE, there are times where having a barrier actually will be very helpful. Alright guys, now let's take a look at some of the best party compositions together with FC Iris. Now, honestly, any character will work well with FC Iris. She is an amazing character. However, there are a few standout characters like Shifraken. Now, Shifraken is probably the only one that has the ability to apply Fear of the Abyss. So basically when the enemy meets like an HP threshold, he will basically have a passive ability that will do a ton of damage. Whereas before this was like a liability, right now with FC Iris's ability to actually remove like barriers this is going to be doing some insane damage. So Shofraken, I think, is one of those characters that are pretty much got buffed because of FC Iris. Now the second one is going to be Bathory. Now Bathory, you can argue, is really good in any composition because of Tranquil. With Tranquil, there is a higher chance of survivability with your FC Iris, especially if you have someone with first aid as well. There's going to be quite a few characters, or players I should say, that will probably implement final hit. So having someone with some first aid as well is going to help, but definitely Bathory with her Tranquil is definitely going to be very useful. Now, the third one I think is Ulum, is going to be one of the highlighted characters as well. Now Ulum actually is pretty good in any sort of party compositions as well. You might notice this, like maybe in the future videos, this will probably stay relatively the same, but I will try my best to highlight some characters that are different in some ways. And of course, if there's a shift in meta, the list will obviously change. But to me, Ulum, I think, is a pretty good combination because it can attract or provoke everyone in the opponent's team to Ulum. Therefore, your FC Iris will have more survivability yet again. Plus, if your FC Iris manages to give mana to Ulum, and Ulum gets enough mana to use his to use her, I guess, ability 1 or ability 2, and the opponent still has Tranquil, she will be breaking a lot of Guardian Stones. So Ulum, probably one of the best ones out there as well. And finally, of course, any DPS will work well with FC Iris since she is a mana generating character. Honestly, you can just put on the list every character on the list in Exos Heroes will definitely work well with FC Iris, and I wouldn't really argue with you. Alright guys, we'll close this video off with some gameplay, and while the gameplay is running, I will be giving you my final thoughts on FC Iris. Now, FC Iris is really a great character, and honestly, I've already seen the meta sort of try to shift away from the first Guardian. Now obviously, if you don't have FC Iris, the Guardians are still going to be, you know, a big trouble, right? That's the unfortunate truth. There are still some Summer Festa heroes coming this way. FC Iris is the first gold FC or FATECORE, and we know Valentina is going to be the second one. And we are going to be expecting the same thing for FC Valentina. So I do believe that we are seeing the start of a shift in the meta in terms of the Dragon Blood. There are certainly still some Dragon Blood that is going to be in the teams, and that is, I think, mainly because they've already invested a lot on those characters. Plus, having one doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. You know, when you see an FC Iris, it's like, it's not an auto lose, right? But it certainly makes it so that those Dragon Bloods aren't that useful and can be a detriment to your entire team. So I think between all the Dragon Bloods, FC Rara is still pretty good. Because her combination with Tranquil, she doesn't die straight away like most other Dragon Bloods. So I think in the end, FC Iris is definitely a very, very good character. You know, the mana generating ability, I think, is insane. I really, really love that about her. And of course, an initial access to a over 500% damage is kind of insane as well, and it only requires 3 mana as well. So that's pretty high, and it's a single target damage. Unfortunately, it's not a burst just like FC Anastasia, but it's still really, really good. Her attack isn't the greatest. However, with that 500% multiplier, or damage, I think it's already enough. So I think I'll end the video right here, guys. Basically, I think FC Iris is a really good hero, and yeah, I wouldn't want to miss out on her. Not only because she's waifu material, but she's actually pretty strong. Anyway, guys, I'll end the video right here. Please do remember once again to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel, and really do appreciate all the support that you guys give me. Helps with the YouTube algorithm as well. Now, the main thing I want to ask you guys is, obviously, if there are more things that we can cover on this topic of character reviews. If I missed anything, or feel like you felt like I did something wrong, please just let me know down in the comments below, and I'll try to do better. Just do it nicely. This is my first time trying out a character review, like officially, like a well edited one anyway. So you guys will still be seeing my first impressions, but again, if I do get the characters, then I will try to do a full review. Yeah, so I just want to hear from you guys what you think of this video format. If there's stuff that I can add, just leave them down in the comments below. Anyway, make sure to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook as well at Munchkins Gaming. This is Munchkins logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next level.